Hello, everyone, and welcome to the
Hey,
first annual Video Game Accessibility Awards. I'm Alanah Pearce, and this is my very handsome co-host and eye candy for the show, Steve Spohn.
that's me. Thanks for letting me come along and be adorable. Wait,
Hey,
wait, wait,
somebody
wait.
has to.
Wait. What is this? What is this dress and red carpet? And you did not. I'm in an office. You did not.
I wore
Why?
lipstick, Steve.
Wow.
I
Okay.
never do
Hold on.
that.
Hold
I
on.
am
Okay.
still wearing pants. Would you, just to shatter the illusion of how fancy
Okay.
this is?
All right. Yep. Are you allowed to show pants on stream? Is that
I
a
think
okay?
so. It's too
All right.
cold, and I guess my socks are green, but I did try to
That's
dress up for the event, so thank you
that's
to
fine.
everyone
You
for
know what?
joining us.
You know what? I got a Kevin. So f that. Hey Kevin, can you make some magic happen in the background here?
On it.
Oh man, look at that. Oh yeah, okay. How's
I like
that?
that our whole award show actually takes place on a red carpet because we
Yeah,
couldn't get a
yeah.
venue, so it's just outside.
We're socially distanced red carpet. These red carpets are not even in the same
Exactly.
state. They're 3 states apart.
Doesn't matter, we made it work, which is very
We did it.
related to things we will talk about how difficult the show was to put together. But first, Steve, what are we doing
Alanah.
here tonight?
Alanah, we are here tonight to celebrate accessibility and to celebrate video games. So, for the first of our lives, we're living in an era where accessibility is finally being celebrated. You can see it throughout the game industry. You can feel it in social media spheres. You can feel it in the industry. Things are changing. Things are getting more accessible. And we wanted to come together for a first of its kind way of celebrating that. Now, we're going to talk about this throughout the show, but this is a first of a kind. We're going to mess things up. We're going to have points where we miss some cues. For example, like we would love to have an ASL translator right now. You might notice our closed captioning, by the way, the bottom of the screen. It's mandatory. You can't turn it off because our options were to leave it on or turn it off, and we decided better to leave it on for everybody. So there's
I
going to
think
be a
it's
lot
great.
of things like that. That's good.
It is really good. This is all auto. It's very cool tech. But yeah, I mean, we basically wanted to come together and celebrate games that are doing accessibility right, or rather are making strides, are taking step forwards to making things more accessible. And for the record, everyone who's watching, this was a show that I had pitched 12 months ago that was supposed to be sponsored, that was supposed to be a live event. It was supposed to be very different to how it actually turned out. And there was a while where I was like, well, maybe it'll just be too difficult. And then I decided that that would be sucky and you shouldn't not do something just because it got harder. So now the show is sponsored by Alanah Pearce. I know Steve really wanted Doritos,
I
but we
really did.
couldn't make that happen.
I kept adding them, and then they blocked me, and I don't know what's up with that.
Super rude. So we did our best, but of course, you know, we're totally happy to hear feedback on categories. We want this show to just continue and get bigger and better as it goes on, to become something beautiful, and really try to celebrate everything. Is what we're here to do. Have a celebration of video games, and also hopefully teach some of you who don't know about some of the cool accessibility options out there about them. Like, for one thing that I did want to mention regarding categories is we don't have a hardware category. But you know, shout out to Xbox for the adaptive controller. That seems like an easy one. But Steve, do you want to tell us a little bit about how the voting process worked?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we thought about doing the first awards, we thought, you know what? Let's just pick everything ourselves, and then everyone will love us. And they were like, no, that's not how this should work. In fact, we should get disabled people involved. So this entire process has been entirely driven by the community and by disabled people ourselves. So Able Gamers has set up an amazing program called Player Panels, which is an entire database of people, individuals who are ready to be Q&A testers, ready whenever the industry calls. If you need someone to help test out to make sure your game is ready, these player panels are ready for you. Well, we decided to tap into that knowledge and extensive video game love and say, hey, what are some great examples of these here video games? And you can see these categories on screen. We have very fancy graphics. We have a second channel graphic on the screen right now with some same controls are different. They're little blue graphics with blocks and pixels full of different icons that represent exactly what accessible design patterns we would be talking about. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. I'm not going to spoil too much right off the bat, but we picked some of these to go into and talk about how games did really well in those particular areas.
Also, does one of you have construction in the background?
That might be me.
I love it. It's perfect. For everyone who's asking,
construction, it's cooking. Sorry.
For everyone who's asking in chat, very relevant. This is 100% live, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
this all the captioning is live and is very good. I hope that cooking's good, Kevin. I'm happy to hear it. Have a good time.
Listen, if you're gonna build a pool in the middle of a live show, why not this one? Honestly.
Can I come use it? That's all I want to know. That's all I'm asking, and then everything is fine. So I did also want to mention before we get into everything, because obviously we start with a million disclosures. This was my call, not Steve's or Able Gamers, and that is an important note, which you can elaborate on a bit, Steve. That we are going to try to raise money for Able Gamers throughout the stream, basically to spread the good vibes. It's just like, if you're here and you feel inspired, or you want to feel like you could do something good, I'm trying to raise $5,000 for Able Gamers tonight. But Able Gamers, ultimately, I mean, Steve, again, you could speak to this, didn't just put together an award show to try to make money. That's not what happened. This is completely independent, 100% my call. I will throw the link in all of your chats right now.
This is 100% all on Alanah. Blame her for everything. That's Alanah at AOL.com. Very easy to get.
Did I just get doxxed?
You did. You can. Well, so we love to raise $50 million tonight. Probably 5,000 a little more tangible. But when Alanah and I started talking about this, here's the thing, right? We didn't want this to turn into an advertisement for Able Gamers. It's about the entire community. It's not just about us. Able Gamers is one of the most well-known names in accessibility, and yes, we have a giant force behind it, team of people who are coming together to make the world a better place, but we didn't want it to turn into a fundraiser feel. However, at the same time, as reminded by my board, we are doing this. We did put in the work to build the player panels. This is what this is all around. So if people feel a resonation with the message of Able Gamers, with helping players with disabilities find their way into gaming, maybe for the first time, maybe coming back to it after an injury or a trauma, then if you have $5 and you have the means to do so, feel free to tip a little bit of a donation. But if you don't, just watch, enjoy, look at the eye candy, check out Kevin in the background building the pool. That's all you gotta do.
Can we get pool cam?
It's a hot tub. You guys know it's a hot tub.
Oh, all right, my man.
Well, streams canceled. We're going to the hot tub. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we can't stream that. That's too much spice. It's too much spice. But yeah, I keep putting the links in chat. I believe it's in the YouTube description, but I sometimes have trouble with that with Twitch, which I guess is like a relevant thing to. Oh, hey guys, we've already raised $1,600. Ethan donated $1,000. Thank you, Ethan. Which, for the record, I do want to acknowledge that we can't compete with the $1 million that was donated to you guys this weekend, Steve. That is absolutely incredible. Huge congratulations.
Thank you. No, listen. Shout out to
you didn't donate that.
Listen, that was all me. I've been saving my pennies since I was 3 years old. I've only been drinking 1% milk. It's cheaper than 2%. So yeah,
I'm gonna get on those bargains.
Clip the coupons, Alanah. I've been trying to tell you about this for years.
So we did also want to speak again. I swear we will get to the awards any minute now.
Probably.
About some of the language choices, Steve. Did you want to talk about some of that?
Absolutely. So here's the thing, everyone. So the thing about a first-time stream is that the reason one of these haven't been done before is that a lot of organizations, and quite frankly, no shade against the big award ceremonies out there, but they're afraid. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to use the wrong language. They don't want to offend anybody, and they don't want to drag anybody down, and neither do we. However, as a disabled person myself, as a lovely, caring individual, as Alanah is, as all of our people who supported us today, who many are disabled, we wanted to put forward our best foot, and we wanted to say, okay, listen, sometimes we're going to choose the wrong word. This is live. There are deep-seated words that may not be the right choice into our brains. For example, I like to say disabled players. A lot of people out there prefer gamers with disabilities. All right, and there's an entire brouhaha about what is right, what is wrong. We're going to try to ignore that tonight and focus on the main issue of celebrating accessibility. And forgive us if we may get a word or two wrong. We're going to do our best to put our good foot forward and be like, hey, we're doing this for the community.
Exactly. Trying to do the right thing. We understand, especially me, that all of this is a work in progress, but that it is all coming from a very good place, hopefully. So as for the games included, which is something that I had a little more oversight over, We kept a focus on things that came out in the last 12 months, but did also allow any ongoing multiplayer titles or games as service games that may have come out long before 2020 because
I
it felt
really liked.
like a
I
good
liked
idea.
I liked your opinion on that, and I agree. Alanah made a great point that multiplayer games continue to evolve, and they get better. And we've seen
Especially
games. Yeah.
where accessibility is concerned. I'm
Right.
glad you like my opinion. I will throw
Mhm.
you the $10 I promised after the
Thank you.
stream for you saying that.
The
I
check
really
keeps
appreciate
bouncing. I don't understand it.
that. But yeah, so your single player experiences that are listed here are for this year. But your online, or the last 12 months rather, your online experiences just have to have continued support in 2020, which turns out is a
Yep.
lot of them.
And let's face it, 2020, the year of social isolation, which is the main thing that Able Gamers combats against, but also all of us who do advocacy, we're all just trying to find ways to stay connected. And the multiplayer games, they did great, just as well as the single player did.
Absolutely. I mean, kind of a huge win for mental health in a lot of ways, I
Yep.
think, especially for me. And it's definitely a thing that I can mention is we intend to have partnership with Checkpoint going forward as well, who are an organization that focuses more specifically on mental health and the relationship with video games that mental health can have. So, lots of things continuing to happen.
Yeah.
But Steve, did
Yeah.
you want to announce our categories?
I do, and it's important to take note that we don't have, as Alanah was saying, any hardware. We don't have any mental health categories. We don't have some things in place that we want to have in the future. Again, this is because Doritos has yet to return my ads. Hopefully, one of these days. I know. Come on, Doritos. So can't wait to get that angry DM from Doritos PR Twitter. Dear sir, why did you call us out? But so for tonight, we're keeping to 10 simple categories that are just our way of saying these are great categories, representations of accessibility. And next year, we're going to do a whole 27-hour show. Lana's not going to sleep. It's going to be great. Until then, she's like, I didn't rehearse this at all, Steve.
I feel like I barely slept this week, if I'm being honest, Steve. What are you signing me up for?
That's what friendship entitles you to do.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we have a wonderful group of guest hosts who will be coming in to explain each category well better than we could possibly even do. But the names of the categories we're going to celebrate tonight are, for those of you who can't wait, same controls but different. Second channel, improved precision, clear text, do more with less, play alongside, bypass, training grounds, house rules, and helping hand. I don't have the robot voice to really do that. Damn it.
I will make that work as a note as we roll each of the categories.
Yep.
You will have our guest presenters, you will have the nominees, and then we will come back and I will reread them again for anyone in the deaf community.
Perfect.
So we can make that happen. Shall we just roll the first one?
I think we jump into it.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, my name is Accessible Gamer, and I am the CEO and founder of the Accessible Streamers team, and I am here to present the nominees for advancement in using same controls but different. This category is for the effective use of remapping controls either on the keyboard or at the controller level. And this could either be a game like Warframe that has a lot of remapping, or a newer title that has recently upped their game by including more ability to remap the controls. This category is super important to me because without it, I wouldn't even be able to play video games. Button remapping allows me to utilize not just the buttons that the developer wants to place where, but the ones that are closest and most accessible to me. So without any further ado, the nominees for this year's The Advancement Using Same Controls But Different are
something to fight for. I really hope you make it.
Farah! Let's talk!
I ain't a stranger to the danger. I'm a live and I'm dying here. Yeah.
I just realized that Assassin's Creed didn't have an apostrophe. So I would like to apologize for that. But let me read through those nominees. You guys ready? We've rehearsed this voice. Steve
Well
hates
done.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
The nominees are Fortnite, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, The Last of Us Part 2, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Hmm.
Did I do
why
it?
why the creepy voice? Why every time? I swear, it's like my Alexa's gonna come to life and stab me. Jesus.
I feel like it's perfect for announcing video games. I'm very happy with it. Do you want to announce our winner, Steve? You should do your
Well,
best creepy lady voice, please.
okay. The winner is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Where you have the correct pronunciation, and I do also, sorry, I meant punctuation. I do also want to acknowledge that there is no way for us to celebrate these games
No.
without,
No.
you know, an audience. So we're just gonna,
No.
and then if you at home could also
Clap
just
along.
sort
Yeah.
of, woo,
Please
then
clap. Please clap. Yeah.
it's organic. He sounds
Well
like a whole group of people.
He does. That was amazing.
That
This
was
is why we
very.
pay
I'm
him
just
a
gonna
lot of
hire
money.
Kevin
Wait,
anytime
no.
I need a hype man ever again. Look at him laughing at our jokes.
It's like we pay him, and then we don't. So this is weird.
Well, I am, but I'll
Yeah, I
pay
don't
him
think
off
so.
with that.
I don't know that paying him Three Musketeers counts for his rent. I'm just gonna say, Alanah, I don't know.
The chat is being spammed with applause. So yeah, huge congrats to Assassin's Creed
clap.
Valhalla. Did you want to talk a little bit more about what specifically this award means, Steve?
Nope.
All
Okay,
right, well,
so
that's the show. Peace out, everyone.
for our first category tonight, we decided to focus on what it is to have same controls but different. As you can see on the screen here, we have the entire design problem, which is essentially if you need to use a control for one situation but you have a different one that you want to pull up, you should be able to do that. This shouldn't be a situation where you can only push, one thing for one person. What if it needs to be a different thing? It's called remapping. It's kind of one of the things that is basic in today's 2020 world, right? Well, not every developer has gotten on board with that, and they should. And this particular design problem is simply promoting that cause of remapping. Valhalla did that very well. Everybody who knows about Valhalla knows that Assassin's Creed in general is the most complex. You need a Rubik's Cube to figure out how many different controls there are, and some people wouldn't be able to play it if it wasn't able to be remapped.
So there are a lot of steps that I feel like I've seen Ubisoft take even this year to be more accessible. Like the first screen when you start Watch Dogs Legions and Valhalla are about accessibility, which is a step forward that is very cool. But I did also feel like, I guess we felt like we should address, if you wanted to speak about it, Steve, that there was a controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Of course, they are very well deserving of this award, and it is awesome that they've been taking these steps. But we did also kind of want to address the elephant in the room, I suppose.
Yeah, here's the thing about controversies in the video game industry and accessibility. They come up from time to time, right? So, as people in the community, we can disagree on many things, but there is no stronger show of support than to say to someone, I do not share your view on all things. We've had our differences, but this is not okay, and I stand with you. Advocates put their mental health on the line every single time. We have to speak up about an easy mode, about removing harmful ableist language from a video game, or adding options that enable people to enjoy the virtual worlds we love. We must stop the ad hominem attacks, the bullying that occurs to the people who are just trying to push accessibility forward. Every gamer I know is a passionate individual who loves video games. For the good of the future of gaming, we must be better. We must not attack our own. Remember that advocates are simply people trying to make sure that everyone can play in a healthy and safe environment. I'm also kind of really sad that Kevin didn't put up like some sort of like gladiator background track while I was doing that speech.
If you want, I can get it. There's the whole DMCA strikes.
Nope, we can't do that.
I literally have it queued.
Steve,
Like,
do you
I'm
want to
ready to
start
show it.
again, and I'll do the Halo music. I'll just be like, oh, and then we'll just again applause. Very good.
Please clap, clap.
We stand by it. Thank you. Kevin's so good at that. Honestly, just amazing.
We have worth every musketeer we paid. No, listen. We really wanted to mention that some things happen with Valhalla that were not cool by the community, and we are happy that the accessibility is going to keep moving forward. But just be better, everyone, as better as you can.
Just be as better as you can. I strongly agree. It's something I try to live by. Just be as better as I can.
Right.
No, but it's still, again, this game specifically, and again, Ubisoft in general have been doing a really great job of pushing this stuff forward. So still very celebratory where that award is concerned. I saw some people in the chat saying that they didn't even know that it was an option. So very cool that you guys are joining us and doing learning today.
I think so. And that's kind of what we meant by learning. And I think some people are like, what do you mean teach us about video games? It's not that. It's that some people really aren't aware that accessibility is a thing. And it's something that I'm so grateful to my friends who have a lot of followers like Alanah who are teaching, that, in fact, accessibility is a thing. Right. And this is something that for a lot of times was kind of swept under the rug. It was not important. And whenever anybody tried to speak up about these issues, they would just get batted back down. And now, we can band together and we can really say that accessibility doesn't harm video games. It makes them better. Let's all celebrate games together.
Oh, he stopped.
Important words, good words here, strong words, happy
For the
words.
record, as much as I am making jokes, because one of you wrote in the script, Alanah random joke. I appreciate you, Steve. I stand by him, and I appreciate him. But I'm also going to move us on to our next category. Let's do it, Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kate Stark, and I'm a variety streamer. I'm here to present the nominees for creative use of Second Channel. This category is for alternatives in-game that can be turned on or off to ensure players know what is happening. This category is important to me because I have ADHD. Second Channel helps make sure that games have multiple ways to deliver information so that if you are distracted or miss what is going on, you are not punished. The nominees for Second Channel are
Tame these broken kingdoms.
Because of this poison, my people have known something worse than war.
We each bring a skill. Combined.
Oh no, it's creepy
stopped.
voice time again. No.
You ready?
Yep, do it.
The nominees, I'm going to drag it out to make it more uncomfortable for you. The nominees are The Last of Us Part 2. Anything, Steve? It's fine. We'll keep going. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Call of Duty. Modern Warfare. Ghost of Tsushima. Rainbow Six Siege.
It's like she's staring into my soul and planning on pulling the heart out of it.
I live to make you uncomfortable.
Thank you, friend. The winner. There is a winner here, right? Okay,
Mhm.
The winner is The Last of Us Part 2.
Woo! There is not a live show. Live reaction. It's very anticlimactic every time. Obviously, a hugely well-deserved win. And Steve, I feel like
What?
Who said that? Mom? I feel like everyone is talking about the steps that Naughty Dog took to make The Last of Us Part 2 as accessible as possible. And to be totally candid, when we started this out, we were a little bit worried that it would just end up being The Last of Us Part 2 show, which is obviously, to their credit, tremendously. So, Steve, what do you think Naughty Dog did differently to make The Last of Us Part 2 stand out so much in an awards show like this?
Listen, the truth of the matter is that Naughty Dog knocked it out with more than 60 accessibility settings in the game itself, and that is more than any game has single-handedly done for one title ever, and that needed to be paid homage to. Now, here's the thing, even at 60, are there still some people who can't play the game? Absolutely, there are. But on top of that, a lot of people now can play, and that's what we need to focus on, is more people can play this than ever could before. 60 is a huge number, and although not every game is going to hit 60, I think we'll see more people doing better than just 3 or 4 settings.
I mean, I hope so, and I feel like that's part of the importance of this show, is that, if any developers are watching this, or hear about it somehow, that that's the thing that they can take with them, right? It's like, here's why these things are important. Here's who they matter to. We're trying to show you the people that are affected by these things. And yeah, full credit to Naughty Dog. They really did an incredible job. And maybe brought up again. Who knows? Spoilers. But
Man, wow, make them stay to the end. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta really gotta bake that. We're trying to make money here, Steve, for your foundation / organization. Okay.
Yeah, right. Those people. Right. Okay.
Look how much money we've already raised.
Look at all that money right
there. Crazy.
Okay. Well, you can't see my eyes, but they look really genuine right now. So
tears in them. Are they?
No, look at me. I look like I'm wearing a mask made out of donation. I like it. I love everybody.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what this category is?
I absolutely do. Thank you for that. Really? Totally not scripted at all, Q.
I hadn't actually written that in there. So
wait, my copy says speak smart here. All right. So second channel, the design problem is simply this. Players are unable to unreliably able to take information from game and or its interfaces via a particular modality and cannot rely solely on it for information. The solution is players can select an additional channel of information via modalities so they can reliably take in that information from the game or its interfaces. And there's a lot of different ways to go about this, but here's a good one is in Diablo 3 when you have spoken dialogue with text captioning, right? It's the same exact information. You're getting it in 2 different channels. And that's what Kate was talking about there was, if you have ADHD, maybe you get distracted and you look away, but you're still listening. Or maybe you get distracted with someone who is, being noisy and building a pool in their background, Kevin, and you need to be able to read. You'll be able to pull the same information in there at the same time. And that's really what that's all about. Again, APX, accessible player experiences, and it's all about being able to do things in a different way. We did forget to mention, by the way, at the top of the show, if you want to read along with us, it's accessible.games. It's a place where you can go and you can check out while we're doing the show live. It is a resource that's free for all developers and for people who want to see what in the heck is accessibility all about. Go check it out.
I just threw that in the chats as well. That is accessible.games. Very important stuff, and obviously a tremendous resource that hopefully, the ideal is, I don't know how likely it is, Steve, but maybe one day this show becomes redundant because all games are just too accessible.
Listen, that's been Mark Varley, the founder of Able Gamers, and myself have been saying for literally a decade and a half now. We are the only charity in the world that wants to be put out of business. It would be amazing if games were so good that y'all would let me move on to one of the other dozen things that disability needs a champion for. But right now, for me, it's accessibility. And until I can bug you to help me get that gold-plated airline plane, gonna have to stay in video games.
I guess we'll tolerate you.
Heavy.
Gold-plated. Does it affect the aerodynamics? Can we go into that?
I believe so.
I think it almost definitely does.
Dense, yeah.
Well, no, I think gold is actually a light material.
No, it's very, very heavy.
Is it? Because I know there are some engine bays that are gold-plated, like in
no, it's because it doesn't corrode easily.
There you go.
Yeah.
How do you know this? Is your blood cup made of gold?
Are you a rocket surgeon? What is going on right now?
Very nice work. And yeah, again, huge shout out to Naughty Dog and The Last of Us Part 2 for taking all of those steps. 60 options is tremendous.
A lot.
And we, again, we're very happy about it. I love that people keep putting clap emojis in the chat. It's very cute.
Please clap.
It's really good. All right, shall we move on to our next category? Let's do
Number 3.
Hi, my name is Broly Legs, and I'm a professional Street Fighter player and teacher, and I'm here to present the nominees for Improved Precision. For this category, we focus on shooters, esports games that have the ability to allow mouse and controller zoom sensitivity for those who have range of motion or difficulty controlling that range of motion that they have. This category is important to me because it demonstrates and shows the love and passion that a player has to compete. I, for one, know the difficulties and barriers it comes with wanting to join a community that's all about competition. I'm happy to say that players nowadays have the accessibility options, or at least more options now than they ever did before, to enjoy a game and share that passion with people and friends alike. We as gamers are always asked with the question, can we do this? Will we do this? How will we do this? And I'm happy to say that esports shooters allows us to answer that question more simply. The nominees for this year's improved position are
Jackpot! Don't mind if I do.
Back off.
But guys, yeah, now we're talking.
All units, find the girl.
Oh,
No, I
getting
keep
into
doing
that.
stops. I'm like, why don't we just keep it?
Can we just go back to that last scene for a second? All right, fine.
No, I have discomfort to give you.
All right, no, please, God, why?
I'm going to do it in a British accent this time, just to switch it up.
Yay! Yay!
Yeah. The nominees for improved precision game are Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare,
It's just
Fortnite.
creepy.
Marvel Avengers,
Stop it!
Rainbow Six Siege.
It's the same voice.
It's the same voice, but now it's British.
That's not even fair.
I make very intense eye contact while reading the nominees for these
I
categories.
feel you looking at my spleen.
How do you feel, Steve?
I'm not with my hands anymore.
Turn
That's-
left.
Ah! God, there's
Ah.
just creepy clown music in the background will make this complete. Anyway,
Here's the secret: is this whole show has just been a way for me to get my reel out there as an award nominee person. But more
can't
importantly,
wait.
we have another winner to announce.
And the winner for this category is Apex Legends. I can't whistle. Yeah, close enough.
Nailed it. I love Apex. You played Apex, Steve?
Not as much as you. Please go on. I'm going to go and make a sandwich while you gush about Apex for the next 65
That
minutes.
was most
Enjoy, everybody.
of what I have to say. If I'm
That's it?
completely
Alright, well,
honest,
I'm back.
is I really like Apex. I also just think the diversity of the characters in that game is super impressive. It's
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. It's one of the few like
Mhm,
multiplayer
mhm.
shooters that I return to all of the time. But it
Yeah.
won for improved precision. What does that mean?
It did. Improved in precision is when players cannot be precise in their actions in-game or its interface. The solution to this is players can adjust the precision of actions so that they can successfully target, move, or navigate in the games or its interfaces. And this, for me, was one of the highlights of something I was able to bring to the table when smart people like Chris Power were building this amazing thing. Our VP of Enable Gamers, he's the smart one. Him and Greg Haynes, way smarter than me. They built this entire thing. And this is my one contribution. I did a little bit more, but I'll say it's this one. Was sensitivity. So sensitivity is so important for me. I use a 16,000 DPI mouse, and for those of you who have never tried your DPI above 800, good luck at 2,000, let alone 16,000. And some games cap it. Some games don't imagine that you could possibly want it to be that high. And for some people like me, you can't play if it's that low, and it needs to be an option. And there's the reverse of that too. People with cerebral palsy or tremors, they need the sensitivity to be really low, to be down in the tens in some cases. And sometimes games don't let you go that low. And it's really important that the improved precision be allowed. And doesn't harm anything in the game to be able to move as quickly or as slowly as you need to.
I feel like that's the case for a lot of these things. Is it doesn't hurt anyone else, you know?
Yeah.
Just what if
Right?
you just did it? That would be super cool.
Just let people shoot. I mean, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, just a thing that you know most people don't think about, and I know that's the thing that I've spoken to a lot of even development studios about is like when they implement their accessibility awards. I think a big part of the problem that we have in the games industry is that often it's an afterthought. It's a thing they do 6 months before launch rather than at the beginning. Which means that it is something that can delay things significantly because some systems do have to be entirely reworked. There are some things that are more difficult than they would implement in the development process. So it's something that they really need to be starting from the jump, make it easier for them and every other game they make going forward. And that's, I think, a thing that I don't think anyone doesn't want their games to be accessible. Hopefully. It's just an unfortunate afterthought.
I mean, with this particularly, so I've asked a lot of developers over the years, because again, this is personal to me, why do you set the sensitivity cap at 10? And what I've heard repeatedly from developers over and over is, oh no, it's just an arbitrary number. We just figure we have to choose a number, so we choose 10. And it's like, well, but didn't you put any thought into it? Nope. Okay, cool. Next question. So
Thanks for that.
Yep, thumbs up.
Yeah, great.
Shout out to indie devs though, man. They're really good. You can sometimes tweet an indie dev if you're having a problem with a game that's really easy, that's just an arbitrary number. Tweet at them, and sometimes they'll just bump it up for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of studios who've done that?
So the makers behind Raft. Raft was a really popular game where you fish in the ocean for junk and build a raft and save the ecosystem. And yeah, it was a really good game. And we had some people who weren't able to play it, and we simply tweeted them and say, hey, we were not do this because the sensitivity is capped at 5. Can you put it up? They're like, sure, 15 it is. The next day, patched. That was really awesome. And we've had some other ones. So we had World of Warcraft, and in fact, Borderlands devs who, for the sake of their own jobs, never will reveal their names because they literally went into the code to tell us how to do a / command to up the sensitivity because the publisher wouldn't do it.
Well, I respect that. It's like you've got like rogue accessibility spies.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome.
I love it. There's a bunch of publishers out there going, find the emails now.
Deleted. It's just so inoffensive as emails. Like, can you imagine getting fired for that? My gosh.
Yeah.
So to everyone who's just joining us, welcome to the Video Game Accessibility Awards 2020. I think we're almost halfway, maybe almost. What are we on, a number?
Hello, it is us. We are here doing not creepy noises.
Hello and welcome.
I
We're also raising money for able gamers. I keep just pasting the link in the chat, so it should show up pretty frequently for anyone who would like to donate. But thank you to everyone who's donated so far. We've raised $3,574.75 of a $5,000 goal. There you go. There it is. Hey, everyone. Really hope we could hit that 5,000. Just you know, if you want to contribute, really, more than anything. We've got some nice comments in here. Mark said, very cool approach to an award show. Might be the first one I've ever seen where I've learned something. So I love that.
Oh, that's a nice comment. Oh, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, lots of nice stuff going on in there. So yes, shall we
nice.
jump to our next category?
I want to jump. I do want to say shout out to Broly Legs, by the way. Broly Legs is a competitor who plays with his face, the controller literally on his face, and he is the 6th best Street Fighter player in the world.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yep. Imagine playing Evo, the Evo tournament, with just your face. Can you do it? Because I couldn't.
No.
He's
a trainer as well, though, right? He teaches people to play too.
He literally, it's what he does for a living. He literally teaches people to be as good as him, and he's got some amazing students, and he's out there making a difference in that community. So shout out to him, one of my favorite dudes on the planet.
That is very, very, very cool. Obviously, we have a lot of very cool presenters, but did you want to tell people where they can find him if they'd like to check out?
I do. His name on Twitter is Broly Legs. You can go check out his Twitter, watch his videos, and go watch his competitions.
It's a good shout. Everyone get on it. All right. Let's jump to our next category.
Go, Kevin, go.
Hi, I'm Steve Saylor, commonly known as the Blind Gamer. I'm an accessibility advocate and consultant. And don't mind Leonardo back there. We're both actually dressed up in fancy suits because only Steven and Alanah can be able to get us to dress up in the year that is 2020. And we're also very fancy today because we are honored to be able to present to you the nominees for Clear Text / Crystal Clear Text Award. For this category, we focus on games that have done an amazing job showing text for low vision players, gamers with color blindness and deficiencies, as well as players with learning disabilities. This category is super important to me because there are many times I play games that has very little text and it's very hard for me to be able to read. And I'm playing with a 50-inch TV that is sitting 1.5 feet away from me, and there are some games that I'm just not able to play. Well, the nominees that are going to be in this category have gone above and beyond what is expected and be able to create an amazing experience for clear text and crystal clear text for those low vision players. So, without any further ado, the nominees for this year's Clear Text / Crystal Clear Text Award are...
No, I thought that was like gonna be a Jingle Bells. Jingle. Oh wait, are we DMCA'd now? Darn it.
That's too many Steves. Is all
No,
I have to say.
it's a
It's
lot
too
of
many
Steves.
Steves.
Well, listen, the Council of Steves convened, and we have decided that 2 of us are allowed to be prominent in accessibility, and that's it. No more. We're capped.
You've got the
Sorry.
lock on it.
That's right. The Steve cap has been reached.
All right, let me read these nominees out. I'm going to do this one very Australian. It's going to be a whole new flavor.
It's not.
You might still be uncomfortable. I
so
promise I'll do this
soothing.
one differently. Okay.
It's so not. Yep. Mhm.
The nominees for clear text game are The Outer Worlds, B for 20. Moving out. The Last of Us Part 2, and World of Warcraft. Huh?
I can't wait for the letters of angry people. I can't wait. Again, that's Alanah at AOL.org.
I am Australian. Okay, I'm allowed to do that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Do you want to announce our winner?
Nope. Oh, okay. So the winner is The Outer Worlds.
Yeah, mate. Nice work.
Yeah,
Bloody
nice.
go.
We did it. Foster's beer. Yeah. Ooh, crikey. That's
I would
a
like to see
game.
some. Yes, there is plenty of applause in chat. Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Please clap.
This category is like obviously something that Steve spoke to me about, which by the way, shout out to Steve in a suit. When I saw that video, I was very happy to see he looked so dapper.
Leonardo. He dressed up
so good.
freaking Leonardo. I'm so mad. I was
He
like,
did tweet a picture where his bottom half is not suit.
it's weird that he tweeted his bottom on Twitter, but okay, you know what?
You're allowed.
Listen, I
actually
am.
don't
I
get banned for
support it.
that.
Support it. Agency.
You're allowed. Full on porn on Twitter, which is I can't believe it's the first time we've mentioned porn.
That is amazing. We made it to this point in the show. Well,
got so far to.
Also, Twitch ambassador, by the way.
Yeah. So basically, massive congrats to the Outer Worlds for winning our clear text, crystal clear text category. Steve, did you want to talk about, some of the guidelines or some of the improvements that we need for video games?
Correct, you mate. I love the Foster beer barbecue. Did I do it?
I mean, you pronounce I was checking because I have 4 different drinks here that are all, and I was like, do I have Fosters? Of course I don't have Fosters. We don't drink Fosters. No.
Okay. Oh, the movie's lied to us.
It's not bad.
Pronunciation.
Just so you know.
Well,
thanks.
Agree to disagree, but it's,
Listen, thanks to Kevin for backing me up when Alanah let me down. Thank you, Kevin.
It's not
Anytime,
so
I'm here for you, bud.
Yeah, well.
Design problem.
Yes.
Players cannot reliably read the text in the game or its interfaces. The solution: players can change the way the text is presented to them in the game or its interface so that it can be read reliably. And you'll find this in a lot of today's top-end games. Fallout 4 is a good example of that. Fallout 76. They all have this one. Things like Assassin's Creed often have these as well, where you can adjust the font size, the text size, and some cases you can even adjust like the paneling behind there, so that's more traditional closed captioning, like the one Kevin did below. Shout out to Kevin.
I wanted to say I felt like the Outer Worlds initially when it launched, and of course, I was not part of the voting committee for this particular award show. People had a lot of trouble in some cases even actually seeing. The text was so small, so is what happened here that they patched it and made it more accessible?
Correct, yeah, and we were actually really surprised to see the Outer Worlds even getting nominated in this category because they did not do well at the initial onset. But again, that's something that we will talk about continually tonight. Now that we're near the halfway point, is that games should be applauded for when they do better, and we should be able to hold them with polite, constructive criticism when they do wrong. If you need to be able to see the text more clearly, you should at them and you should let them know. And in this case, enough of you sent the ats, and they heard you, and they decided to make things better for everyone.
I mean, I feel like that makes this like an extra special award, in my opinion, is that it is awarded to a studio, obviously a game made by Obsidian, who learned. And they're winning the award for learning through that process as well and making improvements in terms of accessibility, which you love to see.
I do love to see it. And again, I want to call it to bear here that Alanah and I did not pick these winners and had nothing to do with the winners whatsoever.
Or the voting.
for the voting. No coercion. We didn't offer them Kit Kat bars, although I did try to get World of Warcraft in there. Didn't happen.
Tried and failed to get
yeah,
Kit Kats.
yeah,
Again, Dorito blocked you on Twitter. We really, we were really open to being swayed with candy, but nobody went for it.
No.
I'm sorry. Just to be clear, I am getting the Milky Ways that I was promised, though, right?
No,
At the top
not
of the
at
show?
all. No, nope, definitely not.
Well, I got you like the drugstore version. I don't know what the cheap version of Milky Way would be.
Milk Pathway.
I got you some Foster's beer. None of us drink it.
Good enough.
Nice work, mate. Anytime.
I'm really happy with this. We didn't expect this win, but you know what? I am glad that the players have spoken and had their say. And you can't argue with a bunch of people telling you that this game helped them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very glad that it did. It's a wonderful RPG that does have a lot of text because obviously there is a lot of speech in the game, a lot of talking. It's a great game. I really enjoyed it, and it's.
We're getting Kevin hype in chat right now.
We did it! What? Thank you so much, everyone. That is $5,168.25. Thank you all so much for donating. I will keep dropping the link in there because we can exceed it.
Yeah. Yay!
Thanks, Mike. That's sick. I don't know why I've suddenly decided to get Australian in here, but
true.
Why was it not good?
Is sick. Seriously, you guys, thank you so much. That's incredible.
Like a Texas by way of Australia. What was going on there?
I think I can do Southern as well. Thank you everyone for donating. I don't know if it's Texan though, or it's just kind of Southern. That's fair.
Alanah, video game actress, by the way.
Which is funny because I said this the other night, but I still maintain, as a side note, the games where I'm doing my actual accent, I think my performance is bad. The ones where I'm doing a foreign accent, I think my performance is good. It's very, very strange. When I sound like me, I'm like atrocious, can't act. But when I sound like someone else, I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. So I don't know if that's a mental thing or if it's actually my ability. But anyway, it's a side note. Thank you all so much for donating. I'll keep caping donations. Did I say teep caking?
Teep caking. We're gonna get cake, everybody. You heard it. You're getting a cake.
Please stop! I don't have any more money. This red carpet was really expensive.
Alanah is the Oprah Winfrey of cakes, everybody. You're getting a cake. You're getting a cake. Congratulations, chat. Oh man, no. Seriously though, shout out to all the people donating. We're halfway through. Maybe we can hit 10K. That'd be awesome. Here's the thing: the $1 million to Able Gamers from Twitch was amazing. But that's half the money it takes to run Able Gamers for 1 year. It costs anywhere from $350 up to $850 for the average controller. But when we help a hospital, it's more like $20,000. So, depending on what we're out there in the world doing, every dollar helps. It's that starfish example. You might not change the world with one starfish, but you can change the world for a starfish.
That's what my ex-boyfriend said.
Me too. Yeah.
That was a good joke. I feel like I didn't get enough credit for that. Starfish, anyone? That was a really good joke. I'm sorry. You're saying very serious things again. I really appreciate it. I'm here to be
talk to my agent. How did I get on the show? Ooh, Kevin, how did you let me on the show?
Kevin, shall we just, move on from that and jump into the next category?
Hello, my name's Roel Coley and I am actor. I don't think you lot have seen me in anything really. I am a gamer too, so I know that a lot of you PlayStation fanboys out there will recognize my voice as Bars in Gears 5. Anyway, I'm here to present the nominees for the Do More with Less category. This category focuses on games that allow you to reduce the number of inputs needed for the same amount of actions, and this is helpful for gamers with a broad number of physical disabilities. The nominees for this year's Do More with Less award are
You have no idea what you're walking into.
Here we go. Okay. All right. No, please take the floor. No, it's fine. I'm fine. I'll be over here.
The nominees for the Do More with Less game category are Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2,
Is it Irish
Call of
now?
Duty Black Ops Cold War, I think so, Elite Dangerous, and Rocket League.
I just want you to know on behalf of Jacksepticeye that he's not going to be happy with that accent. He's
Top
going to
of it
be
to you.
emailing you. Top of the morning to you.
Top of it to you.
Top of the morning to you. I'm getting an email from Danny O'Dwyer. He says he wants his friendship back from both of us.
I am friends with both of them, and I hope they aren't watching. Those two specifically, everyone else can watch, and it would be wonderful. Those two specifically, I think they're asleep.
Listen, my favorite ever was I did this accent one time for Danny O'Dwyer, and he's a really good friend of mine, but he stops me and looks me cold in the face and goes, "Don't ever do that again." I'm like,
I think you
okay.
sound great as a non-Irish
Thank you.
person who's never been to Ireland.
Me too. Agreed. I think as somebody who doesn't understand how to do an Irish accent, I'm doing well.
Hand one, the winner for the best Irish accent I've ever heard in my entire life, including better than Jacksepticeye and Danny. Steve. But who won the Do More with Less game award, Steve?
Do More with Less, and the winner is Ghost of Tsushima. I said that wrong. Tsushima.
All right.
What?
So I will say this category pertains to a particular ailment that I have. I have tendonitis in both of my wrists, which means that I cannot do any rapid tapping in video games. I have trouble with games like Guitar Hero. I have a lot of trouble with fighting games, despite really loving them. Anything that requires rapid thumb movement, in some cases also QTEs, because they can be so fast that it can be very difficult for me to move my thumb that quickly. So this is the category that can be really, really disappointing to me if I'm playing something and the accessibility options aren't there. The most common one, for the record, is to turn multiple button taps into a hold. So there are some games do this very well. For the record, Ghost of Tsushima does do a great job and has that particular option. But there have been games that I played in the last year that I really loved that I can only play for an hour at a time because it becomes so painful. So definitely an important category for me, and can say, I was getting nervous leading up to the Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer raids about how that would work, but it's something that they accommodated for, that I was so happy to hear about, because I really love Ghost of Tsushima. So Steve, did you want to explain it from your end?
Nope.
What is the all right, well, just keeps
on to the
rejecting
next, Kevin. Roll the next one.
I mean, we could, but I did first want to address also, before
right.
you even address that, there are people in chat making fun of Rahul. He was joking.
That's so funny, though. You know what I mean? It gets. I've seen the video like 5 times, and it gets me every time.
There are like people being like, "Lol, idiot! It's an Xbox game." So he is in the game and does know that. Definitely a joke. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Can't wait for those angry emails to fly. All right, so to do more with less categories, players cannot successfully undertake a sequence of actions required by the game. Alanah put this very gracefully earlier when saying being able to tap and having changed it to hold. Players can then reduce the number of actions in the sequence so they can successfully make progress in the game. There's a lot of them out there. My most favorite one listed on the website is Nier Automata, which literally you can play the whole freaking game by like 1 or 2 button taps. I mean,
it has they're called auto chips.
Yes.
Is so cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, some people don't like this because it's practically watching the gameplay itself. Other people call this cinema mode. Listen, at the end of the day, if that's how you enjoy playing your game, that's how you have to play your game, then I think you should be able to do it. And the doing more with less is one of the ways that we get there. And what's great about this is also often where the modes come into play. Sometimes you want to do more, sometimes you want to do less. And sometimes it depends on the day, depending on your disability or how you're feeling. I challenge anyone out there to tell me you've never had a day where you're picking up the controller and you're just like, oh, I'm not feeling like mashing these buttons today. Like, it happens to all of us.
And I think a really important distinction about a lot of these categories, but this one as well, is sometimes, like for something like this, where I say I can't rapidly button tap, it is physically painful. My hands can be sore for days afterwards. It's not something that I can do. And if I've ever expressed, I wish that there were an option for me to hold, I will get some feedback from people that are like, but that makes the game too easy. That's missing the point of the game. And I think the best argument to make in response to that is, it's not that it's making the game too easy for me. It's making it possible for me to play technically at the same difficulty that you would play it. So it's not that even, you know, with the conversations around Sekiro having an easy mode, for example, are not about asking for the game to be easy. It is about asking for people with disabilities to play it at the same level of difficulty as anyone else, because part of that is disabled gamers also want to play really hard games. They just still want to be able to play them.
That's correct. Yeah, and since she brought up Sekiro, though, I have to go do a 45-minute speech about easy mode. So hang on and get your popcorn. Here we go. Point number 1. No, listen, bring on baby ass baby mode. Thank you, Britt, for that amazing catchphrase. No, it's listen, we want equals mode. We don't want equality mode. We don't want easy mode. That's the thing. Don't let anyone anywhere in any capacity tell you that gamers with disabilities don't want to play games. We do. We like difficult games. As a matter of fact, Escape from Tarkov, shout out to them. Hardest game I've ever played. I love that game. I die so much. I'm so bad at it. But you know what? There's accessibility in it, and it makes it playable. So thanks.
And a huge congratulations. Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima. One of my favorite games in the world. I can play it! Yay! And again, okay, Rahul was joking. All right, you okay?
Good job.
It turns the chat against us. Oh my god.
It's really funny. Yeah, and we got some love there for Brit in the chat. That's pretty Bombasher from What's Good Games, who I also we absolutely love. So let's jump into our next category, shall we?
Hello, I'm Troy Baker, 2013's most ubiquitous actor. You may be wondering what I'm doing here. Well, as an actor, I've been told that my performances are the foremost leading reason why even the hearing community turns off the audio and turns on those subtitles. Huh. Anyway, I'm also here to present the Play Alongside category. Now, this category is about games that allow people to play together to progress, including quests and skills, sure, but also simpler things like lending a friend or fellow player some gear or in-game currency. The nominees for this year's Play Alongside Award are
Ready to bring down the house, sugar?
Damn it, every time.
I didn't realize he had that accent. You
The-
felt like that the whole time?
Yeah. The realization on his face was,
It
Beautiful.
seemed very honest. Very honest.
Yeah.
Not scripted at all.
No, I don't think so. But I do have to read the nominees. So, the nominees for this year's Play Alongside Game Award are Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Mobile,
Please make it stop.
Elite Dangerous,
It's still going.
Fortnite,
I don't get it.
and Final Fantasy, as in the MMO.
She relayed it really long.
I always don't realize it's coming every time.
You're welcome. That's why I paid myself the big bucks to do this show.
Whoa, did you get the real Milky Ways? Hold on a minute.
Can't afford this. No, we ran out of budget long ago. We ran out of budget the minute we hired you, Steve. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very expensive.
Also, by the way, still bouncing. Still don't understand that check bouncing. Anyway, the winner of this category of this year is Borderlands 3.
I'm dancing.
Yay.
Dancing.
Okay, that's not dancing. That's more like waving and wiggling.
This is how I dance.
He's got your
What?
eyes. That's waving.
No.
You're waving.
No,
Audacity.
You ever seen Elaine from Friends? That's not. I don't know.
That's fair. I get that a lot. Huge
Say
congrats to
Elaine from
Borderlands 3. Steve, did you want to tell us a little bit more about this particular category?
Yeah, so Play Alongside is one of those categories that is near and dear to a lot of our hearts, even if you may not realize that it is. So players cannot progress through challenges presented by the game without assistance from another player. So with Play Alongside, the solution is players can play alongside one another so they can progress through the challenges presented in the game. Now, this is really particularly good, and I can tell you the reason that Borderlands 3 won this year is because
I'd love to hear that. Please tell me.
Thank you for asking, Alanah. You can go through this entire game, and your friends can do all the shooting, all the murdering for you, and all you got to do is be there enjoying the story and the experience. So, and again, this is one of those things, like, no matter what your opinion of any of the games we select tonight, be it your, boo, Fortnite, or yay, Fortnite, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether the people who can play these games actually want to play them, and they can through accessibility. So when, a game has an ability for, let's say, Alanah, who's very good at video games, to drag me through the very bad video game player that I am, then she can just drag me along and we can complete the campaign together.
I feel like we've done that. I'm not going to, elaborate too much publicly, but you weren't that helpful in Phasmophobia.
Wow.
And I feel like it was more because you're a little scaredy cat.
That's a scary game, though.
Okay,
so
somebody had to watch the van to make sure that it didn't get stolen.
That's what he kept saying. Kept being like, I guess I'll hang out in the truck. And we're like, oh, thanks, Steve. I'm about to die.
Listen, you died like a champion, and we figured out it was a demon, and I made sure that all the pens were in order in the tray. So
I mean, someone had to do it,
Yeah.
so we appreciate it. I guess we can just keep going. Let's keep the hype train going. Should we just run into our next category? Let's keep going.
Hi, my name is Humphrey. You may know me as No Hands NZ. I am the owner and creative director of No Hands, No Excuses. And I'm here today to present the nominees for Bypass. When you get stuck, just bypass. When everything else is right for you as a player, but it is still just impossible, skip the impossible, turn your frown upside down with Bypass. This category is super important to me as a lover of adventure games and story games, but that sometimes you just get stuck in because the boss needs too many keys and too many fingers to defeat, or the puzzles are just too complicated, and yet you don't want to miss out on the rest of what comes in that game. And so for me, this is a really cool category, and I'm proud to present that the nominees for this year's Bypass Award are...
The music didn't play that time either. Is it upsetting you?
I'm just preparing myself mentally, emotionally. It's like when the EMF 5 goes off and you're about to get haunted. I know what you're about to do. So
I feel like the music that plays for the stream that you guys can all hear, we can sometimes hear, but sometimes not hear. So for reference, if I seem like I'm dancing and then I'm not dancing, that's a thing that isn't even relevant to the stream. It's just us on the back end. But okay.
No. Kevin, help.
I'm trying to figure out
I don't even know what to do this time. I'm going to do this one. I don't know. We can hear your audio actually. This is this is a post show. We can have this conversation later. It's all good. Okay. The nominees for this year's Bypass game are My Friend Pedro, The Last of Us Part 2, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Fuser, and Control. I tried to make it sound very formal.
You sound like if Alice in Wonderland grew up from the cartoon.
I like that. Thank you. It's like if I were to read a kid's book, that would be sort of maybe how I would do it. And then Alice got lost in the woods.
Oh.
And she was never seen again.
Oh no!
And that's the whole book.
Wow.
That's it. That's the book.
That ended so quickly and so escalated so badly. Wow. Okay. Creepy. Every voice she does. And the winner for this year, Bypass, is Fuser from Harmonix. Okay. my text in there. I don't know why.
You
So
play a lot of Fuser, right, Steve? I think I
yeah.
saw you playing that like today or yesterday, actually.
There's no video evidence of that. So wink at camera. So the cool part about Fuser, and the reason that we gave it to them, not only because number one, when we were playing Fuser, they happened to come by the stream, and there was a part where it would be inaccessible if you weren't able to push a specific button to get by, and they had missed it. And I told them about it, and they fixed it within 48 hours. And that kind of dedication to accessibility is something that I love to shout out. And the reason that they got bypassed in the first place, and I'm so happy that the players chose Fuser, was because it has a failsafe mode, just like Rockman did, where if you're in the campaign or you're failing, it doesn't matter because you're quote unquote not failing anymore. You are able to pass the level and you can bypass all of the problems. Players cannot successfully engage with a part of the game even after all possible adjustments have been made. The player can bypass that part of the game so they can continue progress in the game. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Is a situation where if you're not able to bypass, Spider-Man did this really, really well, where if you weren't able to do a puzzle, you could just go into the accessibility menu and skip the puzzles entirely, because maybe you're not a puzzle player, maybe you have a cognitive disability that precludes you from those kind of mini games, or maybe you just don't like them. So there you go. If you're thinking of a game and you're ever like, man, I wish I didn't have to do this part of it, and you realize, oh, I could skip it, cool, I couldn't have done this part, it's much thanks to bypass.
Yeah, and I actually have played every single game that was on this particular nominee list, and they all, like Sayonara Wild Hearts is like that game. I think does such a nice job of basically just if you fail something, I think it's 3 times, it will give you the option to skip that section, which is just such a nice thing to be able to roll through. So definitely an important one for a lot of people, and also sometimes just for me when I'm having a tough time.
For a lot of people, and Alanah, who is not a people, I guess, question mark.
Yes, clearly I'm a robot lady. We've established
Oh,
this.
right. I forgot about that. My bad. Right.
But yeah, I've seen you playing a lot of Fuser, Stevie. You having a fun time with it?
I'm having a super fun time with Fuser. It's been one of my go-to vibing games in a year such as 2020. You needed some chill out stuff, and DMCA stuff aside, where you gotta make sure your P's and Q's are lined up with your I's and your A's and whatever else language that people would use. I'm really happy with having a music game that we can mostly play. And again, shout out to even a game that wins an award doesn't always please everybody. For example, in the blind community, as other Steve could tell you, this game is actually failing pretty hard. There's not a way right now to tell where the mouse cursor is. If you lose sight of it, it's pretty much like hunting for it, and the things are timed, and there's no way to adjust that time. So if you can't find the mouse, if you suddenly lose it, then you're in trouble. So they've still got work to do, and that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to persecute here. We're to celebrate. And again, when a game shows promise, we keep encouraging them to do better.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. I think that is an important note, and is part of like why these categories are the way that they are, and that we don't have a Game of the Year category, which we can speak to now, is because on one hand, and we will elaborate a little bit on that later, is some of these games can do or take solid steps in one area but not in the others. So it's kind of difficult to be like, well, this game is officially accessible to everyone. It doesn't really work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way at all, and that's something that took a long time for the industry to come around to. Is what you can do is you can go on Twitter, you can go on your blog, you can go on Facebook, and you can talk about how a game is accessible to you. But in order to say it's accessible and plant the flag in the ground and yell from the rooftops, "This is accessible!" Like you can't do that because it may not be accessible for everyone. And if someone stands on that and says, well, I can play it so everybody can, you gotta be wary of people like that, because that's often someone who just wants recognition for themselves and not for the community. So
maybe a little bit self-centered, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe people who can't. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
A little bit. And then what are you gonna do the rest of the stream with this voice? Any idea how playable Fuser is for the blind? So I guess the answer to that, to Deathstalker, who just asked that question, is not particularly.
No.
There is room for improvement.
Indeed, yeah. Shout out to Glitch Division, the community member who has been giving Harmonix tips on how to make it better for blind players. And shout out to SK and some of the other blind community who are on developers all the time for here's how you can do better, and hopefully these developers like Harmonix are listening and they'll do better.
Yeah, so congrats to Fuser for winning for the Bypass Award, which is obviously very important in its own right. But of course, all of these games have room for improvement elsewhere. So shall we just run on through? Let's jump into our next category, Kevin. Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Craig Kaufman. I'm the Director of Community and Outreach for the Able Gamers charity, and today I'm going to be presenting the nominees for Training Ground. This category is about the inclusion of a training area that allows players to practice skills, adjust settings, and get a feel for the gameplay. For those with disabilities, the ability to practice and customize without having to be in the actual game allows players to create a better experience for themselves. This is important to me because I play a lot of cross-platform games on different platforms using multiple input devices. Being able to make sure the settings are good to go before I search is definitely a good thing, and my teammates for sure appreciate that. The nominees for this year's Training Ground Award are
How fit to be the boss? Let me find out. My team ballin', you look like you need a timeout.
And the winner for this category, you're gonna read them again, aren't you?
Yeah. This idea came from chat. And for the record, I just never want to seem like any of these are mocking them, but I also want to make it interesting. So this year's nominees for Training Ground games are Madden 20, The Last of Us Part 2, Among Us, Doom Eternal, and Moving Out.
Oh my gosh, like those are such good games. Like
I
just
know.
can't wait to hear like what the winner is gonna be. Like I am so excited
Exactly.
like
So,
right
like,
now.
why don't you say it then?
Like listen, like Becky, don't you even get up in it right now, okay? I swear. Oh, it's Madden 20 or whatever.
I didn't know you had a Valley Girl living
I
inside
do,
you, Steve.
yeah,
Oh, you just
okay.
announced it ahead of time, Kevin.
No, he said it's Madden 20, no?
Oh, did he? Maybe I didn't hear that.
Yep,
Yeah, it is Madden 20, and I do
Thanks
feel
for
like
tuning me
sport
out.
games in sorry, I have to sometimes. Just
Fair.
talks a lot of crap.
Wow.
Sports games in general do a really good job with Training Ground, and I'm really glad to see Doom Eternal nominated here. That also had an awesome Training Ground that's a lot of fun. And this is a thing that I didn't even really think about until Craig mentioned it in that video. Is that part of it is just seeing what you need to tweak in the settings menu in the Training Ground before you play multiplayer with other people.
Yeah.
But I guess otherwise, Steve, why is Training Ground important? Could you tell me why?
Like I totally tell you why. It's like because
Yeah.
players cannot like gain the skills to succeed in like the game, and like the usual means of like training are used by like the game or whatever. So like the game provides like this area where like you go in and then you practice and stuff in like variety of ways. Like there's over time that they can gain the skills they need in order to like succeed and do good and stuff. Like it's so amazing, like so good when like you can play games and you can get practice playing them.
I love you a lot, and I also love the idea that someone's just tuned into this stream now and thinks that this is what it is. Oh, Mankind Divided? Oh, that's neat.
No, I love that the first 30, 45 minutes were sponsors being like, you know what, next year we can get. Oh no. This is like games like Rocket League and particularly Overwatch. So I have played a ridiculous amount of Overwatch with my boy Craig, who just did that video there. As a matter of fact, we got our golden weapons together. For those of you who don't know, in
Nice.
Overwatch, you do ranked play, and you get to get a golden weapon if you do well enough. And we played together for hours. I'm a Reinhardt main, so I hold up a shield and look pretty, and he runs around, heals everybody. It's really fun. But here's the thing: the Training Ground is what allows you to do it. If you go to Overwatch right now, you can practice with a bunch of robots, with an area with no robots, and you can get better at the game without having to put yourself in danger of feeling bad because you're dragging teammates down. And that's what's really, really important.
Overwatch, surprisingly, not nominated, but I guess we'll throw it in as Steve's nomination. Of course.
Craig's nomination, I think, is
Craig's nomination.
Yeah.
Of course, the winner being Madden 20. And again, yeah, I feel like sports games do a really good job with this in particular.
Yes, they
And
do,
also,
Governor.
very well, sir. Tally ho. Shall we read the next category, please, Kevin?
Hi, my name is Ethan Nestor, or Crank Gameplays on the internet, and I am here to present the nominees for the House Rules category. This category is all about honoring games which enable the player to choose exactly how they want to play. Whether it's choosing the skill level of your opponents, playing with real humans or AI, or even making a totally new game mode within an existing game, House Rules gives us a brand new way to play. The nominees for this year's House Rules category are
Pushing on me.
I really love this category.
Mm-hmm.
I think
It's
it's
so
a
good.
particularly cool one. That's fun for a lot of reasons. But let me
Yeah,
reread
lot
those
of reasons.
nominees.
Can we just skip this part? No? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to be accessible, Steve, not me.
Okay.
For sure.
Alright.
The nominees for House Rules are. What do I want to do here?
Do you have to think about how to be creepy? Like, does it take you a minute to build up? And
I just feel like I can go back to my Siri voice. I feel like it's been a while. Okay.
oh,
The nominees for House Rules are
so glad I brought this up.
Borderlands 3,
Gosh darn
Call of Duty Black Ops 4,
it.
Elite Dangerous, Final Fantasy, and Among Us. Thank you. Thank you. I did it. I did my job's done. Thank you. Thank you.
So happy that you did that. Thanks, friend. So Chad is asking if I have any other voices. I do. Thank you very much, Chad. I can do an amazing British person. Ask anybody who has ever met a British person ever. Good day, Governor. Pip pip cheerio. I am British, and this is British accent. And Among Us has won this category, Governor.
You paid someone to do that, didn't you? That wasn't really. There's no way. But huge congrats to Among Us. I feel like this game was like definitely some really cool house rules. I've seen streamers who are playing a hide and seek mode. People who are obviously the way that you can customize the game itself. Inside of those menus, you can change things on the fly, but you can also kind of invent your own game modes, which, like I said, has been very cool to watch. And obviously, the game came out a few years ago, but is still being supported and updated. And recently, did update some of their accessibility settings, which is awesome since the game is blown up. But Steve, do you want to speak more to this
Absolutely.
category?
I do, Governor. Players are unable to choose opponents, Governor, teammates, or to play with who have similar skill levels and preferences to themselves. Players can then choose the options for matchmaking skills, preferences with other players, so that they can play on a level playing field with others. Now, I do want to pop out of the horrible British accent impostery.
Oh, you were doing one? Oh.
Wow.
I didn't-
Hurtful.
oh.
Hurt
No, keep
me.
going.
Okay, live on stream. But literally, this means a lot to me, because like Alanah was saying about Among Us, like y'all saw, like the if you ever played hide and seek in Among Us, it is not how that game is meant to be played, but people found that it was fun to play it that way, and I'm so glad that it was able to be that way for them to have fun. Now imagine if that's just the house rules or what you needed to make it playable for you. Maybe you can't play the slow game, but you can play the one where you run around and slash people with the lights off. Maybe that's, the way you can. And that's a silly example. Able Gamers has some really good ones on accessible.games where you can go see games again, like Overwatch or Battlefield 1, where you can choose the preference of people that you play with. Now, this is a little kind of controversial one. We will call that out there. Skill-based matchmaking. If you talk to any big streamer, you will get a 47-minute lecture with no popcorn. That's my bone of contention about this subject, and they hate skill-based matchmaking. I personally am more of a fan. I don't want to be destroyed by a high-end gamer. I want to go have fun with people on my level. That's my personal take on it, and from accessibility standpoint, it's really great when you can limit yourself so that you can play with people near your skill level. So controversy aside, house rules does rule them all. It was like a Lord of the Rings reference. I tried for it. I don't know if I got it.
One
Close.
house rule to rule them all. No, I picked up on
Yes.
what you're saying.
No,
I
I
feel like
like
the ideal would
Good
be
Elven.
have options to have, which like I know a lot of games do, have one option to be in skill-based matchmaking and the other to not. Is that not common?
So no, not all the time. You know, and here's the thing: is these accessibility things are becoming more common. But we're still got a little ways to go.
Yeah, there's always a ways to go with everything, including the show, which we only actually have one category left.
Oh my
So it's
gosh!
not
Only one
actually-
more creepy voice lady. What? I mean,
I can't wait.
God.
I'm gonna think about it the whole time about how to make you the most uncomfortable. So
no.
Let's jump right to it.
Hi, my name is Redders. I'm a streamer on Twitch, and I'm here to present the nominees for the Helping Hand Award. This category is to honour video games that have options built in to allow the game to assist you in making progress. This is particularly valuable for people with cognitive disabilities, people with physical disabilities, and, you know, honestly, able-bodied gamers can use these options too, so that everybody can enjoy games in a way that's comfortable for them. This category is important to me because, as somebody with disabilities myself, both cognitive and physical, these options being built into games means that I can get through them with less frustration and less pain, and it's so important for everybody to be able to game and enjoy video games without having to worry about any disabilities standing in their way. The nominees for this year's Helping Hand Award are
Well, aren't we having a wonderful time kicking the hornet's nest? War boots on a riot gear. No suits, just spicy. Grass loose is a riot gear.
You ready?
Yep.
I only get to do it one more time.
Okay.
And the chat requested it. I'm about to offend a whole country.
Oh dear.
The nominees for the Helping Hand Game Award in Russia are The Last of Us Part 2. Kevin, did you just make that or did Steve do that?
No, Steve did it.
That's incredible.
It's very good.
I didn't expect that. Okay, so
Got her, shot. We got her. We got her.
The Last of Us Part 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Do I sound Russian? Fortnite. How are the captions doing with my Russian? Oh, actually, quite well. Ghost of Tsushima. Moving out. I think I maybe sound more like Borat.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's a difficult accent, ladies and gentlemen. I did my best. But would you
The
like
Prime
to announce
Minister of
that?
Russia would like to have a
Yes,
word with you.
I am from Russia, and we have a lot of good games that have a helping
It's
hand
definitely more
accessibility
Borat,
options.
Borat
Yeah,
than
thank you.
anything
I'm
else.
going more Borat the more I speak.
Well done, Svetlana. Well done.
Thank
The winner of the category is, of course, The Last of Us, a Part 2.
Oh, yes, I love this video game. It's very good in terms of the helping hand accessibility options. And then I also got more nasally. I don't know what's happening. So, Steve, do you want to break down what specifically this category, our final category, is all about?
Category of finality for the evening. Helping Hand. Players cannot progress through the challenges presented by the game without assistance from the game itself. The design solution is players can choose to have the game assist them so that they can progress through the challenges presented by the game. What does that mean? Well, take, for example, Uncharted 4. I know that's a fan favorite with a lot of you out there. You can go into the game and you'll notice that it asks you if you want a hint. Well, you can take the hint if you want. If you don't have to take it. That's what options are all about. Accessibility settings are all about taking the hand when you need it and not when you don't. And that's what this category is about as well.
Hell yeah. Love to see it.
Yeah.
I,
Last of Us did really well here.
Yeah, and obviously, again, in a lot of cases, The Last of Us did really well. Obviously, Naughty Dog, a strong point with this one. And this is something that's helpful to a lot of people. Just also, generally, I know, to children. It's a good way to get kids into games that otherwise would have difficulty barriers that are a little bit too high for them. Even something like Uncharted can be a little bit tough for kids to play. So it's across the board. There are a lot of different reasons why these categories can help a lot of different people. And we're very appreciative of all of our nominated games tonight, all of our winners. A lot of why was that controversial, Steve? Why did you contest that?
What? So
you just
sad.
can't help the sass. It's an ongoing. Someone's got to rein it in
Listen,
one day.
You know what? My mods on Twitch are pretty good at it, but then they just encourage me to do it more too. So.
Yes, well, sometimes he is a very sassy man, but this is
true. In case you want.
All right, Kevin. Nobody asked you. Okay, I think I nailed
Sorry.
it.
Thank you, Kevin.
But just to recap all of our winners tonight, which again, a lot of really incredible games across the board. We have the same controls but different for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Second channel game is The Last of Us Part 2. An improved precision game is Apex Legends. Our clear text game is The Outer World. Our do more with less game is Ghost of Tsushima. Our play alongside game is Borderlands 3. Our bypass game is Fuser. Our training ground game is Madden 20. Our house rule game is Among Us. And our helping hand game is The Last of Us Part 2.
Woo!
Thank you to all of the people who made the video game. And obviously, touched on this earlier, Steve. But did you want to talk about it again? Did you want to touch on why we didn't in the end?
I think probably for explanation's sake, especially if you missed the monologue earlier. So it was. I saw a lot of people in chat asking for a game of the year, and we're not going to name a game of the year tonight. And there's a very simple reason for that: is that it's almost impossible to do. So for those of you who know the history of Able Gamers, we used to name a game of the year, and we did it for many years. But the problem was that it really wasn't game of the year. It was, this is the best the game industry had to offer the accessibility community of the year. And that's a really long title to try to pay to put on an award. So we ended up just kind of kiboshing the program because if a game is accessible to Alanah, does not mean that it's accessible to me. And if it's accessible to me, does not mean it's accessible to Kevin, and so on. And so it's almost impossible to come up with a game of the year that's accessible for everyone. For as great as The Last of Us 2 is, there are still gamers that have been left out because they need more intensive intervention or have more profound disabilities that need more assistance. And maybe that's where hardware steps in. Maybe that's where additional PT, OT, other things can step in, and we can't help everything. We can only help what we can help. That's why we're not doing a game of the year category, because none of these were intended to be the best of the year. These are all simply acknowledgments that these games did well in these particular categories. And if you're a developer, check them out. Check out accessible.games. And if you're a player who just wants to learn about accessibility and how, why do I keep hearing about accessibility? What's up with that, Alanah? Then Alanah can just be like, go watch this video. Here's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. And of course, just to reiterate, we did not pick the nominees or the winners ourselves. That was done by a board of people who are in a lot of these cases relevant to these categories. So that was not Steve and I. That was a very wonderful group of people who helped us out. Frankly, a lot of people helping us out. Thank you to Kevin, who is our live producer.
No problem. Anytime.
Oh, he's so humble about it.
Yeah, because you're paying him in Milky Ways. Well, I'm sorry, Milky Paveways?
Yeah, it's just spelled differently. We have to figure that out later. I have to thank Eric Sapp, who made our beautiful art here.
It's so
Eric,
pretty.
also a new game developer, just recently announced a game. Kalila Alston, who did all of our video editing. Absolutely fantastic. Steve, did you have anyone that you wanted?
I do. I definitely want to shout out to all the players with disabilities that helped us here tonight. Appreciate No Hands and Kate and Broly and everyone who has even participated in the player panels program. Over 600 of you. And again, if you're a disabled gamer watching this and you want to join the program, go to player panels on accessible.games. You can check that out. You can register. You can. It's free to join. Go check it out right now. Special shout out of thanks to my boy Craig at Able Gamers for helping us get this on our Twitch tonight, and to my mods, Long Jane Silver and Ghosty Gaming for helping out with some of the production. That Kevin was like, "You don't pay me enough for this," and we were like, "Fine, we'll bring it out." And I want to thank also all of the players. This is where Alanah's going to be like, "Wow, Steve, way to play to the crowd," but also. Listen, it's thanks to you that accessibility's been coming as far as it has. We've been doing this for 15 years at Able Gamers. We're getting ready to hit the big 16. And the only reason the company started listening is because you care. If you didn't care, they wouldn't care. I'm being honest with you. They care about the bottom dollar. They don't care about me. Some of the devs care. A lot of the devs care. But the publishing houses, not so much. The people might, but the company, So really what it's all about is connecting with those people that care. So thank you for caring. Thank you for pushing them. Alanah, I did see a message in chat. A lot of people were saying, like, is there a way that we can tweet a form to be like, hey, you won an accessibility award? That's not something we really talked about. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Did you mean to let the people who won awards know that they won?
Yeah.
Oh, I am having certificates made. Eric Sapp is currently working on those that I will email to them hopefully in the next day or two. So they will get cute little certificates given to them. I did give some of the publishers heads up as well. We were like considering having thank you videos also included, but it seemed like it was a little bit too difficult to put together because that's also a reality of making a show at homes. There are lots of things that, we want to improve upon and make bigger and better, and hopefully do this in person next year if things are back to normal, hopefully. But for the most part, just enormous thanks to everyone for tuning in, for watching. This is something that I personally think is very important that hopefully we can bring more awareness to, and more awareness equals more results. So thank you for joining me, Steve. Thank you for joining me, Kevin. Thank you for joining me, everyone in the chat. I hope we had a good time. Again, a lot more jokes than your average awards show, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. There was no
All
jokes
right.
up in here.
He's getting sassy again, but this time it's in Southern. He just can't help himself. It's just you see what I have to deal with.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. So yes, thank you everyone. We raised $5,735, which is absolutely awesome. Oh, it just went up. Thank you all so much. Obviously, huge thanks to Ethan for the $1,000 donation. That's absolutely amazing. And we have one more video to leave you with on our way out. But thank you all so much for joining us for the very first Video Game Accessibility Awards.
There's the next year. Bye. All I heard my entire life were doctors telling me that my disability was going to kill me any day now. But here we are, September 15th, 2020, and I'm 40 years old. And when you turn 40, you're supposed to do something really, really big to celebrate. Problem is, when everyone from medical professionals to loved ones constantly reminds you that your terminal illnesses are out to get you, you don't really plan this far ahead. You don't think that the day will ever really arrive. So, what in the heck am I supposed to do? Last year, I asked The Rock to be my friend. That worked out, but how do I top that? I could have had a midlife crisis and bought a Nissan Skyline, but that would require money and the ability to get into a car, neither of which I have. So, my thought is this. For my 40th birthday wish, I want to ensure Able Gamers can outlive me. I'm going to swing for the fences and try to raise $1 million for charity. I have poured 15 years of my blood, sweat, and tears into creating an organization for disabled people to combat social isolation, something that all of us can identify with after the year 2020. If I have any chance of making this dream come true, I'm going to need your help. Go to ablegamers.org/Steve and make a donation to celebrate my 40th birthday. Every dollar helps and gets us a little bit closer to the $1 million goal. Share, retweet, use your social media platform to bring awareness to this goal. Raising $1 million is quite ambitious, and I know it's not going to be easy. But the truth is that you never know how much longer you've got. And at the end of the day, I want to know that Able Gamers will continue on long after I'm no longer on this big blue marble. Man, why didn't I just ask for a fancy toaster or something? Maybe some gift cards to Red Lobster?